What's up, guys? It's Zach the Celtics guy here. I'm back with another video, second video of the day. I wanted to make a second video for you guys because I know I've been posting kind of here and there sporadically over the past week or so, and as of late I've just been busy with other stuff, working, and days I haven't been working, I've just been wanting to relax and not really do much of anything, and haven't had the energy to post as often, but I'm back, and now that the week is a lot less busy, now I'm back to make more content and put out some more content to tide you guys over. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a different type of topic. It's more of a psychological thing. It's more of, well, it's kind of a cultural thing, but it's a mix of cultural, psychological, psychology, whatever you want to call it. But in this video, I want to talk about the issue of mob justice mentality. And I've read this little thing about mob justice mentality, where there are certain countries in the world that are still today very poor, like in much of Africa, much of Southeast Asia, much of like other parts of the world, Oceania, like Papua New Guinea, and other countries in that area of the world, the Africa, Southeast Asia, whatever. And there's a thing called mob justice mentality, which means that a group of mobs go after fucking people who have done something that they thought was wrong, and they want to take matters into their own hands and stuff like that. I'll try to link as much information that I found about this in the description, but basically this whole thing about mob justice mentality is the most common occurrence about mob justice mentality that I've found is in countries that I've read, where I've looked at like travel advisories, I've studied things about cultural things about other countries, because I love geography, I love geopolitical stuff, I love world history and things like that. So looking at travel advisories and what the Australian travel advisory has to say about Liberia, or what the Canadian travel advisory has to say about Papua New Guinea. I don't know. I just find that interesting. I just find it interesting as to, this travel advisory about this country and that country. And there's a thing where if you get even into like a minor accident, like a traffic accident, because roads in countries like that in the world are still today very poor. Like, they're in very, very bad condition, very poorly lit. It's not, they're a lot of these countries are still underdeveloped. They're still third world nations. And, like Liberia and Papua New Guinea and Haiti and other countries like that their roads are in terrible condition. Most African nations have roads in terrible condition and stuff like that. And whenever there's like an accident, and then I read these things where like crowds can quickly form after traffic accidents happen. I mean, even if someone who's done something fucking stupid, like they weren't paying attention to where they were going and they fucking hit someone and they crashed into somebody or something, and then you got this crowd that forms out of nowhere, and they can turn angry and violent, or sometimes they might want to look into the damage or something like that, or they want to look and see like what the hell went on. And like, it must be scary for the person who got into this accident, because I mean, if these travel advisories are warning people about this, then it must have happened over in those countries at some point. And nowhere else in the world have I read that this happened more often than not was in Papua New Guinea. So yeah, Papua New Guinea, north of Australia, basically on the border of Queensland, Australia, is like, basically it's very, very underdeveloped. It's a country consisting of several different tribes. So there's cultural violence, there's religious tension and violence and chaos and things like that. And Papua New Guinea is also rife with corruption. It's rife with all sorts of cultural issues and things like that. This is why I'm against organized religion, because it's fucking shit. I don't support any kind of organized religion because it's fucking shit, and this is what it leads to. And crowds forming after accidents that take matters into their own hands, in a way, I can kind of understand why they would be angry, because I can kind of almost understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, it's really not their business, and they really have no business doing that, because anywhere else in the world, they would be prosecuted and they probably would receive a citation for disorderly conduct, if not arrested. You know, like I've read this happening in Bangladesh, India, Nepal, even in like countries like Vietnam and Cambodia. Well, even those countries are largely underdeveloped. And I'm not trying to say this as someone who's an American and understands that our country has so many fucking problems. So this is not to distract from America's problems. No, as an American, I can say our country has so many fucking problems. Our infrastructure is fucking shit. Christian far-right fanaticism is fucking running wild, even with Trump not in office. But, you know, all that type of stuff. So, in a way, I can kind of understand where these people are coming from, because, there's not exactly the greatest education in some of these places, and because it's so corrupt and it's very poor, and the economies over there are not exactly that good, because most of their economy consists of farming and owning land that the same family tree has owned for like 5 generations in the past. So there's all this type of thing. The economy's not that good. It's rife with corruption in a lot of these places, based on what I've researched, not from the media, from what I've done my own independent research on, also interacting with certain people from these countries online and elsewhere. So yeah, mob justice occurs because when there's a lack of trust and faith in your government institutions and in the police, you are going to have mob justice that's going to take matters into their own hands. So like in Bangladesh, if there's like roads in Bangladesh, from what I've read, are horrible. In most African nations, they're horrible. In Vietnam, they're bad. In Cambodia, they're no better. And in other places like Liberia, one of the poorest countries in the world, or even in some Middle Eastern countries, they're no better. So for example, when you got traffic accidents happen and there's bystanders walking along the street somewhere, and they see a traffic accident occur, they don't think the police is going to do anything about it. So what are they going to do? They're going to form quickly after an accident, and then they're going to form and they're going to get fucking angry with the person who they think hit a pedestrian, crashed into someone, was being a reckless driver, because reckless driving and speeding and everything else is so prevalent throughout the world that whereas like in first world countries, if someone's driving recklessly, what do you think the police is going to do? The police is going to be fucking on your ass if they catch you. Most first world countries, they're going to come after you. They're going to be up your ass, and they're probably going to ticket you, if not straight up arrest you and give you a mandatory court date for reckless operation or operating to endanger. So whereas with people like this, they drive vehicles that are overloaded, which is also illegal in most first world countries, most of the world. They're driving shitty vehicles that have bad maintenance. Roads have bad maintenance. So road accidents are bound to happen at any given moment. So when someone gets into an accident, these people walking along the streets, they don't know what the hell's going on. They think that probably this person was a reckless driver, was a speeder. Oh my God, our police system is fucking shit. In Liberia or in Papua New Guinea, wherever, are fucking shit. So therefore, what are they going to do? They're going to take matters into their own hands, and they're going to say, we're going to take matters into our own hands because we don't have faith in our government and our judicial system. This is what corruption does to other countries. This is what it does to third world nations. It corrodes everything. And it causes the public and the people of these countries, who I legitimately feel bad for having to go through this type of thing, they don't have any faith in their police or their governments or their judicial systems. It's not like Singapore or Norway or Sweden or Denmark or even the U.S. or Canada. I mean, even though we definitely have our fair share of corruption here in the U.S., for sure, but, at least there's more of a faith in our judicial systems and police and whatnot, depending, but, And what are these people going to do? You can kind of understand where they're coming from. They're fucking angry. They see something happening. They don't think their police is going to do anything about it. So what are they going to do? They're going to sit there and they're going to take their matters into their own hands and say, we're going to go after this person that caused this accident. And these protests are going to, they're not even protests. They're fucking hostile crowds that form after a traffic accident. Or in India, where cows are considered sacred animals. Bangladesh, Same thing, maybe Nepal. I don't know that much about Nepal, but which is also located in the Indian subcontinent. So what happens is when this happens, when a pedestrian is injured, a cow is hit or something like that, angry crowds are going to form because they're going to think that this person was being a fucking idiot, and they don't have faith in their police. They don't think the police is going to do anything about it, so they're going to go after the person that they think did it. So you can kind of understand where they're coming from. And again, I don't condone this type of behavior. If I saw some traffic accident along the streets, I'd keep walking. I'm not gonna form with a crowd because, and the police probably aren't gonna do anything about these crowds unless maybe someone reports them. But with police corruption, police have to you will relies on money and bribes because of how poor it is. Because many of these countries' judicial systems are corrupt from the top to the bottom. So with this corruption and all this, there is a lack of faith between the public and the government and the police. And when you got this type of thing, mob justice is bound to happen, even with minor traffic accidents. This is why it happens. So if you are involved in a traffic accident, if you're in a third world country and you're involved in a traffic accident, and I'm telling you this as someone who has studied this type of information, if I was in that scenario, or if I saw, and I'm telling anybody this, if they happen to ever want to travel to any of these countries for whatever reason, your call. If this ever happens to you, proceed to the nearest police station. Don't even stop. Like, I know that sounds like a hit and run. Anywhere else that sounds like a hit and run. But I'm telling you, if a hostile fucking crowd forms after an accident in Papua New Guinea or Bangladesh or wherever, anywhere in the world for that matter, you go. Because you have a right to leave that accident because your life is in imminent danger. So what would you do? You should leave the scene and go to the nearest police station. And if the police are like, why did you leave the scene? Well, I had a hostile crowd ready to strike my vehicle and try to kill me. So I think I was legitimately fearing for my safety, and this is why I'm here. So yeah. So to sum it up in a sentence, you can understand where these people are coming from, but if anyone's going to act violent or out of control, it's really not cool. I understand you're angry. I understand you're pissed off about this type of thing. I understand. People drive like fucking idiots. Like, even in my area, a lot of people drive like fucking idiots. People drive like fucking idiots everywhere. There's stupid people on the roads just about everywhere. So, some more often elsewhere, but that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother topic altogether. So it goes to show that you're going to have this type of thing. It's going to happen. So if this happens because of corruption, it's time to clean house with some places. Even with the U.S., I'd say the same thing. So I can understand where these people are coming from. They're angry. They're pissed off. I get it. But when you use violence to try to solve a dispute, it's really not cool. And I disagree with it. I disagree with all types of violence. I'm only okay with violence for self-defense. This isn't self-defense. This is you getting involved. Even though, as I'm saying, and I've said numerous times, I understand where these people are coming from, but trying to use violence to solve a dispute like a minor traffic accident, or even when a cow is hit or an animal's hit, if I ever saw an animal being hit in the street, look at me, I'm a massive, gargantuan animal lover. I love animals. If I saw an animal be hit by some idiot driver, I'd be fucking pissed off too. But the thing is, you can't get involved. It's not your fucking call. It's not your say. It's not your say to get involved in an accident because you're going to end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's how road rage happens. That's how aggressive behavior happens. At the end of the day, as fucked up as it may be, as fucked up as corruption may be, forming a crowd even after a minor accident or even a bad accident for that matter, at the end of the day, it's really not worth it. It's not worth risking your own life. And anyone that's involved in this kind of accident in a third world country, it's not worth being there. Go to the police station, do whatever. Stay safe. That's really what you got to do. You got to play it safe, and other people have to not get involved. That's really all there is to it. I understand how they feel, but with this type of mentality, mob mentality, I don't agree with it, no matter how fucked up a situation is. You don't take matters into your own hands like this. I mean, I could understand if someone killed your fucking family or your child or something. Yeah, I would probably want to do the same thing. But mob mentality after a minor accident, forming crowds in third world countries, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that kind of mentality at all. So no. Just, don't use violence. Don't do violence unless it's self-defense, period. I understand how you feel, but unless it's self-defense, it's not acceptable. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Don't do violence. It's as simple as that. Don't do violence unless it's a self-defense reason. That's pretty much it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll link as much of this information that I found in the in the description. I'll be back with more videos. I'll definitely try to upload more tomorrow before the weekend, before I have to go back to work. I hope everyone's doing well. I'll see you all again in the next video. More stuff in the works. Stay tuned to find out more and more videos on the way. This is Zach, the Celtics guy, saying thank you for watching. See you all again soon, and I'll see you all again in the next video. And like I said, mob mentality, I completely disagree with. Violence is not acceptable unless it's self-defense. And unless someone did something really fucked up to you or your family in self-defense of you or your family or your loved one or your best friend, it's simply not worth it. Peace out.